I will record now. Okay, so we just did a brief poll, and the majority of the attendees have a Club Runner website. I do know that DACDB serves as a website with a WordPress front end, I believe.
Yeah, it's a plugin. It's actually all WordPress, and all it does is the plugin allows you to draw things out of the back end of DACDB and put it where you want on the WordPress site.
Oh, that's actually very cool.
It actually works very well.
And then for other, what are the other websites made out of, if I may ask?
Philadelphia uses Squarespace.
Squarespace, okay. Yeah, Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, those are all decent back-end developers. Squarespace is probably one of my favorites out of those.
I'm about to begin with a Squarespace site. Haven't started it yet.
I
Okay,
highly
great.
recommend it.
Yeah, and very easy to use, template-based. All right, very cool. So, oh, I realized I didn't hit the share button. All right, so let's see, slideshow from the beginning. I have to share my screen. Hang on a sec. Okay, so we're going to do that. All right, can you all see my my PowerPoint presentation, hopefully?
Yes.
Excellent. So we are going to be talking about websites. And as I said in the beginning, some of this might be a little on the basic side for some of you, but I wanted to make sure that I covered all the bases because you can't ever take anything for granted. We will be talking about branding, layout, some of the things that help your website become perhaps a recruiting tool for your organization. And I've left ample time for direct questions and for us to cover some of the websites that were submitted during the registration process. All right, so the one thing that we talk about very often is that we as an organization are indeed people of action. That's the promise that we make. But oftentimes publicly, it doesn't feel like we are necessarily keeping that promise. There are a lot of, I guess I'll say, outdated websites, or the photos that we share are not always sharing the good work that we do. We have a lot of check presentations and people standing around and at dinners and that kind of stuff. So one of the things that we really want to think about is, does your website accurately describe your club? And then the follow-up to that is, does it motivate other people to join your club? So if you think about the things that attracted you to Rotary, probably having a conversation with somebody, maybe doing a little research on your own, how can we incorporate some of those tools into our existing websites, right? And one of the first things that I have to talk about is branding, right? I know that a lot of us are tired of talking about logos and branding, but they are really important. The way I look at branding is that even though every club, every district has their own personality, we all come together with a common belief, right? That we're here to serve and that we can do better in the world. And by showing our solidarity with a matching graphic, I think empowers each of our clubs to be able to do more, to be greater, and to identify with something that becomes truly recognizable. So I really feel, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stumbling because I really feel very passionate about that. Every club does their own thing and they do wonderful work, but we all exist under this glorious umbrella known as the Rotary logo. These are colors that are available through Rotary, the traditional Rotary colors. The palettes are available on the public image, on the Rotary Brand Center. So what are some of the more important parts of your website? So first and foremost is navigation. If people can't figure out how to work their way around your website, they're just going to leave. One of the things that I talk about a great deal in web development is a confused mind makes no choices. So if we get to your website and there's all sorts of things moving and there's buttons everywhere, it's going to feel very overwhelming. And when somebody feels overwhelmed, they tend to just walk away. Second is contact information, right? That seems very basic, but you would be surprised at how many websites forget to put a phone number and email address. Content, basically sharing your story, images, and whether or not it is mobile friendly, because that's a big deal now. So first, we are going to talk about navigation. And I picked this website. This was one of the websites that was submitted because there was actually a number of things that I liked about it. So the top of the website is very concise. There's not a million things to look at. There's not a lot of drop downs. And then there are 3 graphics in the middle, was actually below the fold, that shares even more about the website. So I found the opening to be very clean and crisp. Studies show that a web page with poor navigational elements or no navigational tools are likely to make users bounce. And in Google world, bouncing means that they just leave. They don't do anything with it. Another popular thing for websites nowadays is to have what we call the hamburger menu, which is just basically, those 3 little lines that are typically in the upper right-hand corner. They're very handy for mobile devices, but on websites, when you're looking at a website on a computer screen, I find them to be overlooked. And the majority of older adults are not overly familiar with hamburger menus, so they often get missed. Contact information, really simple stuff. Having at least a contact page where people can submit information to you, having your club or district's name, address. And the thing that I loved about this is that there's an email, and this email is actually at the top of every single page. So you can't go far without knowing how to contact the Rotary Club. And I think that that's really important. So it's just part of the header, which I think is a key element. So content, and this is where you get to share your story. And I think that this is something that we need to talk a lot about. We are not good at tooting our own horns. Some of the stories that we have as Rotarians are really meaningful, heart-tugging stories. And to share those either in writing or by video, or any other form of media, and have that included on your website, I think is really key to helping people understand what your club is about. Now, the flip side of that is ultimately, when somebody comes to visit a website, they want to know what the benefit is going to be for them. So talking about, if you won Club of the Year 20 years in a row may not be the thing that attracts a new member. But sharing about an experience that you had helping build a playground in a local park might be something that would be very attractive to a prospective member. When sharing stories, you want people to have that feeling of, I want to be a part of that, right? And again, I'm referring to this as if it's an external website, external facing website. So this would not be a website for your members per se. You would be using this as a front end recruitment tool to be able to attract prospective members. So on the top of the page, this is actually a graphic from the Rotary Voices blog. Now, the Rotary Voices is geared towards Rotarians. So it shares service projects, stories, lessons learned, tips about public image and the like. It's definitely worth poking around. I think as a Rotarian, you will find it very beneficial. The second photo is, I thought was kind of an interesting sort of summation about, on their about page, they're not actually talking about their club. On their about page, they're talking about what are the benefits of becoming a Rotarian and what are some of the expectations of becoming a Rotarian. So I thought that that was kind of an interesting take on how to do an about page. Images and video. It's obvious. A picture is most definitely worth 1,000 words, and a video then would be worth about 1,000,000. So if you look at the two photos here, the top photo and the bottom photo, which club would you want to be a member of? Yeah, mostly the top, right? I mean, they're busy, they're doing something, they're participating in their community. Quality web pages need to be able to engage the users right from that first second, right? And keep them hooked to the site. Once somebody sees something that they like, now they're tempted to explore and move through the rest of the site. And oftentimes, you know, we're skimmers, right? We don't necessarily read 15 page, paragraphs of text that are on a page. We like bullet points. We like things to be a little on the quicker side. So yeah, so taking photos, I think I have a slide. Yes. So pictures tell a story, right? So the top is a picture that we see very often, which is, people handing out checks, which is not a bad thing. It's good that we donate back to our community. But if your entire website is filled with, check presentations, then people are not going to understand entirely what it is that you do. The bottom photo is actually taken from a service project from Bangladesh, from a Rotary Club here in the United States, where they were doing eye surgeries. So it tells a story, right? Now, not every photo that you share has to be newspaper worthy, but you never know. Sometimes if there is a story about your organization, they're going to go to your website or your Facebook page, and they're going to pull a photo. So I would try to make as many of the photos as you can to be engaging. And that doesn't take high-end technology. I apologize. That does not take high-end technology. A good cell phone nowadays can do a lot. My dogs have the zoomies. Yay. All right. So the other thing that you want people to do on your website is to take action, right? You want them to do more than just read. You want them to click a contact button, sign up to come to an event or a meeting, join. I mean, join is typically sort of at the end of the sales cycle, but you want them to be able to, I'm sorry, it's very destructive. You want it to be easy for them to do something. Typically, it's submitting a contact form or signing up for a project or an event that your club might be having. Okay. Shush. Hang on one quick second, and I apologize. All right. We have heard a lot about being inclusive. In the United States, being inclusive also encompasses being ADA compliant. And I'm bringing this up for a number of reasons. So there has, thanks. Oh, heavens. Okay. In the United States, there have been a number of organizations that have been sued because their websites are not ADA compliant. Now, the majority of those organizations have 15 or more employees, and they are typically brick and mortar based. So in other words, it's a store, it's a winery, it's something to that effect. But I thought it would be remiss if I did not bring up some of these little tips for you to be able to make your website that much more inclusive. And being inclusive actually opens the door to additional people who, could potentially become members. So one thing that you can do is to have captions on your videos. Facebook and YouTube both auto-generate captions for you. So you would just have to go in and kind of make some corrections because it never gets the words 100% correct. But it's better than no captions at all. During my presentations, I tend to leave captions on during Zoom calls so that those will also be included in the recorded video file. Again, it's not 100%. Contrasting colors. It's been a habit, I think, of people to use sort of this pale gray text on a white background, which even for somebody with 20/20 vision can be tough to see. So be mindful of the colors that you have, that you're using as backgrounds, and the colors that you're using for your fonts, so that there is enough contrast to be able to make out the words. Website text and images should be laid out in a way that makes it easy for the site visitor to be able to either increase the text size or to be able to use a reader on your web page. There are a couple of different things that we can do. I know that in Club Runner as well as WordPress, it's very easy to have alt tags and description tags on your photos. So that definitely helps, so you use your description tag to be able to describe the photo, and people who have our vision disabilities will still be able to understand the context of the photo that's on the page. I use a plugin on the majority of our WordPress sites that allows people to be able to adjust text, to create different contrasts, and the like. Just again, for the ability to be able to expand the people that can use the website, right? So again, by being inclusive, by taking that extra step, you open the door to a whole new set of potential volunteers. And there's never anything wrong with that. So again, branding. Now, these are photos that are typically used in social media, right? So we have the People of Action logo overlaying the action photo. And I included this because oftentimes websites will have a news section or a blog section that gets shared onto social media. If you use a branded photo as your feature photo, that is what will be seen on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter and the like. So you might want to consider doing some overlays of the People of Action campaign on your photos that you include on your website, particularly if those are going to get shared into other media. Some resources that I use, I am completely addicted to Canva. I love it for graphics. I find it very simple to do overlays. I can control the size of all the photos and make sure that, everything is, 1200 by 800. And this way my galleries look neat and everything else just looks nice and crisp. The Learning Center and the Brand Center and the Showcase can all give you ideas on things that you could incorporate in your own website. I am currently working on a website for a Rotary Club here. And literally they have a column that is, just about Rotary International, and almost every navigation point actually goes over to the rotary.org website. And they, use the information that's already in existence instead of having to recreate the wheel. I told you it was a short presentation. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to, up to this point, I'm going to open it right up. Bob, the captioning software for the presentation is done through Zoom. Captioning software that I do for websites. Honestly, Facebook is the easiest thing in the world to create a caption video with very minor editing. Typically, it's actually gotten quite good at it. Anybody else have a question? You can just unmute and fire away, or you could type it in the chat box.
I have a question, Melissa.
Sure.
I love what you talked about regarding ADA and whatnot. Are there any tools besides what you outlined that, there's, some of the things regarding ADA is also color, being color compliant, and also obviously text. But I mean, is there a place to go? Is there a resource that's really kind of a great place to go to learn more about this? Because I think that, that anyway, I'll just leave that as the question.
No, that's fine. Yes, no, but there is, and it were remiss of me not to include that in the free resources because I can't remember the website off of the top of my head. If you Google ADA compliant website,
right,
there is one organization in particular. Oh, it's a shame. And maybe when we start looking at some of the other websites, I can just Google for it.
Doing it now, yeah.
Oh,
It's
there you
something called
go.
Accessibility Checker. Is your website ADA compliant? And it looks like it checks your website with 15 common accessibility issues. Interesting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it goes into section 508, which is the big ADA compliance section, which is part of the new standards, industry standards and compliance area.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
What's interesting about the ADA is that there are no real there are no technical standards. It has started off, when it started off, it was quite subjective. And they kind of did we'll know when we look at it kind of thing. But now we have at least some basic things that we can do to ensure that we are being inclusive and creating an accessible environment for everybody to be able to look at. So like Robert said, text size, colors, contrasting colors. Some tools even help with color blindness. So if there are people who can't see, I think it's greens and reds, there's ways to eliminate that. George is asking what is needed for photo releases. So typically if you have an event, one of the things that I like to do is I basically put something on my website that says, if you purchase a ticket to this event, you are authorizing us to be able to take photos of you and use them in our public relations. If we do not have your permission, you must explicitly let us know. So I take the reverse. You can create a photo release and hand those out at an event or a service project. If you were dealing with minors, you must have their parents sign a photo release. So I hope that helped answering the question.
Yes,
Hey, Melissa, I just ran a site I ran site improve on my website, our district website, and I'm thrilled. We got 84% approval, but then they can go in and drill and give you more. This is pretty cool. I didn't realize.
It is. Yeah.
Wow. Sorry to
So is
interrupt.
your district website a WordPress site or?
Yes, yeah, it's
Yeah.
WordPress, yeah.
So I would have to say WordPress is one of those tools that makes it very easy. Well, I can't say very easy, but relatively easy to become ADA compliant. Plus, there are other tools that you can plug into the back end of a WordPress website
Right, a lot of
that
apps.
takes it even a step further.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I thought somebody else was about to say something. I'm not sure what happened.
I would just comment that I see a number of text overlays of photographs in which they are reversing a white on a white background.
Oh, yeah,
making
that's
it
painful.
unreadable. So I would like to just throw out there that as an old photographer, I really enjoy it when people put their text over a dark, if they're reversing it, putting it over a dark area or vice versa, dark type over a light area. Because that's going to help readability and it's going to make people enjoy your site.
Agreed. I agree with that a lot. That's actually very smart. This is my contact information, my email address. If you think of something that you wanted to ask later on, I am happy. Feel free to send me an email and let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer some questions. I know that there were one or two people that had submitted their websites for review that were not able to be on tonight's call. So I'm going to take my list and move this over here. All right. So we have a handful of websites that were submitted for, I guess we'll call it review or for us to be able to take a look at. So here we have the People of Action branding here, and in a big hero section like that, it actually looks very appropriate. So this is actually something that happens quite often on websites, that we take photos that we've taken, maybe we shrunk them down to do something else with them, and then we add them onto a website, and unfortunately they come out a little bit fuzzy. So again, a tool like Canva will help you size a photo so that you can get the correct dimensions and hopefully get rid of some of that little haziness.
I will, Melissa, it's Laura. I would also add, you have to use one of the words that have been legally approved by Rotary International. And connect, that's great, inspire, but communicate is not one of them.
Oh,
And-
you know what? I didn't even see that. Good for you.
Yeah.
So inspire, connect.
Fight hunger. I mean, there are a variety.
There's a bunch of them, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Where do we find the approved ones?
In Brand Center, in the templates.
So again, right, we were talking about clear navigation, projects, about what is Rotary, act, donate, news updates, club stories. Oh, I'm going to go to club stories. I love stories. Grant applications. Look, and these are pretty recent. So kudos. Excellent. This looks like it'd be really interesting. Oh, I love this. This is really great. This is nice storytelling, kind of getting back into it. I love that. I love that you guys are putting an effort to share some new and relevant stories. Contact us button is super highlighted. Let's see. So if we go back to down here, club news, speakers and events, this is what's going on. So I know that this is really a common layout for club runner websites. I can't decide whether or not I like it. It just feels like there's a lot going on to me, even though it's in a nice, neat three column layout. I like this, right? Because right here, you know exactly what's happening within the club. I don't know if Club Runner offers a 2-column layout. But there might be some, I don't know. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it?
I think it's terribly busy, although, and I'm sure there's good content in there. The problem is that I'm not going to read it because it's too small.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
this text is too small for you.
I mean, I've got it, I'm on, I mean, if I could enlarge that, it's still going to be, at best, like 10 point on a full
Okay.
screen. And that's, for people of Rotary, average Rotary age, I say we ought to go to something that scales to at least 12 point.
Okay. Any other comments?
Well, it's funny. I playing off of what you just said, when I set up our website for the district, I did not do anything smaller than 14 point. And in fact, my headline point text was 20 to 24 point, and I tried to keep things big. I also used a lot of the azure blue for the headlines.
Yeah.
And I like using a lot of the cranberry color, which is part of the Brand Central color suite, because it's just a nice contrast. But I agree with you. I don't like small type. I think it's a turnoff, and I can't. And for those of us who wear glasses and sometimes our eyes get tired, it's just hard to read.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very
So
cool.
I agree with what the I don't know who said it, but I agree with him.
George said it.
Hi, George. Thank you.
So there we go. So that's some feedback for the Allentown Rotary Club. We're going to go to the Rotary Club of Philadelphia. Sort of the same concept, right? So logo, top menu, become a member. That's a great color. Not quite the cranberry, but that's a really great color. Maybe that is the cranberry.
I like that.
What I have to say, what I like about the Philadelphia site is it's got a great video. And
It's got a big video.
yeah, if you scroll down on the site right there. It's a great video of the club and its ambitions and its triumphs, and I think they've done a great job with it.
But look at the very title of it. Go all the way back to the title,
Doing good
and you're
in-
going to see the very first frame. You're going to see what logo are they using.
Look at that.
No, but if you keep going, it's the yellow, and that one's accurate, but the very beginning of it had the yellow and blue logo of the wheel.
Did it really? How did I miss that? I muted it so that we could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Huh.
I'm sure
I'm
you're
gonna go to the
correct.
website. Look.
We're gonna have to go back now. All right. So this is a long video, so I'm definitely not going to go through the whole thing. So this would be a great place to talk about, right? That inclusiveness, right? So in YouTube, you should be able to, we're just going to go to YouTube and see if it'll do it for us. Of course, we're going to get a commercial. Next, skip. So here, if I watch it in YouTube, I can turn on closed captions, but I believe that there is a way to have this turn on by default when the YouTube video is embedded into your website. And I think that that would be a huge bonus. If there is not, for any reason, you can always put a link underneath the video that says for closed captions, click here. And then, of course, it would open in the YouTube website.
I do like the diversity of the members that are being showcased.
The video itself looks very nice. And I will probably watch the whole thing, not on the call. So this is very clean. About our club, mission and vision, past leaders, meeting schedule, our causes. So lots of hero headers, lots of text on the page. That's a fun picture. So I'm looking for more of this, right? So this is club members actually participating in the project. So that to me is very cool. Get involved. This is what will happen if you do. Is this, I'm assuming this looks like the same video from the front, reasons to join. So overall, really a very clean, crisp kind of website. I like the consistency in the design throughout the pages. I love seeing actual photos of your club members on the site as opposed to stock photos. This is a great little catchphrase here. So to George's point earlier, right? So this text can be a little tough to read on a photo. So one of the things that you can do, is this a WordPress site? No, this is a Squarespace site. So on Squarespace, you might be able to add a little bit of an underlay. Oh, actually an overlay. So like a shadow, and then have the text appear above that. So you can actually see what the text says. But other than that, I like this. I think that this is pretty cool. Again, using your own photos. Any other feedback from anybody else? No? Okay. All right, so this is District 7475. Got it. All right. Is this Club Runner? It is. So Club Runner has a bunch of new templates, and those new templates take advantage of the entire screen. So, I mean, there's sometimes you like having things framed in, but this almost feels a little squished to me. This is, you know, good size text that we were just talking about that before. This hurts my eyes. And then we have a lot of going on here. So I'm not really sure what to do or kind of what direction I'm supposed to be pointing myself in. That's okay. Oh, I just read this article today. Too. Charity Navigator, and then there's a whole lot going on until I get down here. So one of the things that I would suggest is take a look at some of the Club Runners newer templates. They're a little bit crisper. It would have more of this type of a look. Unless that looks not appealing to you, then that's okay too. This doesn't have to be a slider. That could be a static photo if you would prefer. It could just be, you know, a photo like this. And then it would give you more room to be able to do, you know, play with your text. So too many text colors on a page kind of makes the eye go all over the place. So as I look at this, my brain is just kind of feeling a little fried. I would stick to a highlight color. I would also stick to a particular set of fonts. Like this is different than this. And then you have this color here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So, and then the highlighted piece is just a little overwhelming. This I'm sure is a super cool event, but there's got to be a better way to lay that out. So I'm going to give you one suggestion, only because.
Hey, Melissa, as
Yes.
you're changing, I'm noticing that not every club has a donate button that's very, very distinct on their
You're right.
homepage. And you know, for me, that's real important. And I just call that out because I just saw it on another site that you just breezed through, but this one, for instance, I can't see it. And I hope that that's something that's a big, important takeaway, because we need to drive people to a call to action as well. If we're telling a story, let's get them to a place where they can put their passion that they might engage from our sites into some form of action. So.
Correct, right? So we talked about calls to action earlier. So having a call to action so that people do something, right? So here, right? So there's that, to Robert's point, there's a donate button here. So one of the things that we did with the new Club Runner layout is we really punched our events, because we felt that that was kind of where people really wanted to go. We eliminated the side columns for the majority of the page. And then we just brought it down to a 2-column layout for everything below the fold, which I don't know, maybe I'm simple, but I can't look at too many things at the same time. So you might want to look at some of Club Runner's other templates. Just kind of update this a little bit and reorganize it so that the really good information that you have does not get lost. And again, to Robert's point, right, adding a call to action. Janet.
So I wanted to ask you a question about district websites versus club websites.
Sure.
And who the real audience is. And so what content should be in the, or is best in the website?
That's a really great question. So here's how I think about it. Who do you serve? Right? So if the district serves the clubs and the membership, then the district's website should be geared towards information that pertains to or helps to support the clubs and the members. A club's website, who is there to serve the community, should first and foremost have an outward-facing website that speaks to the community. So anytime you're not sure what kind of a voice to use in a website, the first question I would ask is, who do you serve? And that will help you to determine the kind of content that should be on your website.
So, Melissa, I'm going to jump in here because this is a big conundrum. And thank you for bringing that up, Janet, because we struggled with that in our district in 7980. For years, we had a website that was totally for our members. There's no freaking way that anybody and their brother would stay on that website that wasn't a Rotarian. It was all for the Rotary members. And when you think public image, you know, aren't we servicing our community, and aren't we an extension of our clubs, and we're here to help our clubs develop connections to the community, and if we can weave them off one another, that's interesting. So we've totally changed our district website around to a public facing site with an avenue for club members to enter in and get the information they need in certain scenarios through the district website. But then they go into DACDB on the back, because we use DACDB, and that's where all the information sits. And if you think of Rotary International, they've got 2 websites. They've got My Rotary and Rotary.org. Rotary.org is public facing, and My Rotary is for us. Interesting, huh?
It is interesting. So how long has the website been like that? And do you know what the results are?
Incredible. We made the change on July 1 at the turn of the year, and the impact has been really, really powerful. I mean, if you go to Rotary 7980, you can see what we've done. Rotary7980.org. I mean, we're not done. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's night and day. I mean, you can't even compare the story.
I agree with you, Robert. I think it's a lost opportunity if the districts don't do that.
And and if you go to this is interesting, because now you go to this project, the Rotary Day of Service, and you click here for more information. We created a whole website just for this project that drives them to this new website that's specifically for the April 9th Day of Service. And it's kind of fun. So, and it's all in support of the clubs.
Right.
'Cause-
I mean, the one comment I would make about Club Runner and DACDB websites, and it's sort of the nature of what they provide, is there's too much information about who the club officers are on the homepage. You know, the public, honestly, I don't think they care. And I don't
Agreed.
think it does a thing to attract members. So,
That's a really interesting point. I like this. This is really very nice, Robert.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun putting this together. And like I said, we're not done. We have so much more we haven't done yet. And because it's a lot of work.
This
I mean,
is good. It is a lot of
WordPress
work.
is not easy. I mean, it's great, but it's not easy. You got to really know it.
I
this-
yeah, I have to say I love working in WordPress.
I
These
do.
are great photos.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay, so service project, youth services. So we started doing something like this. I mean, we do talk about these things on the front end, which are not member specific. But I find it interesting that, and yours is, I mean, obviously newly updated. You have the Ukraine and everything.
Right.
Ours is more event focused. So I guess that's why I interpret it as more member focused.
Here's the other thing we did in giving. We have the active fundraisers there underneath, which is kind of cool. And we have our day of service links there as well as our fundraisers that they use.
And this all goes to the
That
other
all goes to
website.
that all goes to Event Groove or any other platform they're using to
Okay.
do. But then the other thing is the if you go to the last tab, which is the news, Rotary Moments, and we did a program where we did under Rotary Moments, we had a program where we got Rotarians to do literally Rotary Moments video wise, and so this is an array of like 25 videos that are different people doing their Rotary Moments, which is kind of fun.
And this would be great for any club to do. This is
Exactly.
just. And did you just use a regular cell phone or did you go to a professional studio?
No, we used a cell phone and well, no, we had a videographer. We did it at a district conference and they came in, we did scheduling, everybody signed up and they came in and we had 20 minutes per person. And we had a great journalist who interviewed them and got them crying and talking about the thing that made an impact to them in Rotary. And then we edited each one separately. And it was fun. And we did this like a year and a half ago and we haven't done any since, but we're going to do more because this is really all about the storytelling.
That is key. Video, like I said, video is definitely worth a million words. This
Yeah.
is a great idea.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But it's
All
buried.
right.
So I mean, there's so much we can do in this platform. That's the crazy thing. So, so.
All right, so this was Rotary District 7475. All right, so we took care of that one. This is Westchester Rotary. So again, is this a club runner? Club runner, this is the club runner website. This again kind of looks like one of the older club runner templates, but it's done in a cleaner way, even though it has the 3-column layout. Calendar, archives, that's an interesting word. What is that for? Rotaries, weekly minutes, okay. Member resources, service, how we serve. So to me, so this really seems to be a website that is designed for the club members. Right, so we were just kind of talking about that, right? That was part of Janet's question before. So for a club, you definitely want to have something that's a little more outward facing, so and enticing, so that people would want to dive in. You got the right logo. Robert says that you need a donate button. That's not here. So there we go. All right. So Rotary District 7430. So again, a Club Runner site, I'm guessing, but I'm sure that that's what it is. Club Runner. 2-column layout, didn't go wide, decided to keep it narrow, which is okay. So the quick links here, this is definitely an internal. So I'm going to go internal versus external, right? This is an internal facing website. 2,000 businesses, district events that are coming up. So this is a website that is speaking to the Rotary members in the district. Good logo. Oh, and a donate button. What is this logo? Does anybody recognize this?
Yeah, that is the image for our district. It's a DISL
Oh,
thing.
okay. Thank you very
Just
much.
as Philadelphia has a Liberty Bell, 7430 has a DISL thing.
Okay. So are you looking to make changes to your website? Since you're here.
No, I'm not looking to make changes. I'm looking to listen. I didn't even know this would be offered tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody submitted it to me, so. All right. So I've noticed this on a couple of Rotary clubs, particularly with the templated sites, is that they just kind of let the menu go on and on and on. Now I'm sure that it turns into a hamburger menu once you look at it on your cell phone. But there's probably ways for you to condense some of this so that it is just a single line. I also don't see a Rotary logo. So I see this, which looks a little different, but I don't see a Rotary logo. So I would definitely look to add a logo. Speakers list, again, the 3-column layout, the Rotary RSS feed, some photos of things that have been happening. See, now this piece, to me, this piece should be up here.
I
Right, so-
agree.
Register for golf, and then, hey, find out, join us for a project, partner with us, discover new cultures. So I would have that piece up here and then just let the rest of this kind of do its thing. But again, for those of you that are on Club Runner, definitely look at some of the new templates because they're way cleaner and more appealing, and they are 100% responsive. And I think that that is key. And then our last website, oh, I actually used this one in the presentation because I got a kick out of it. I really liked it. I thought it's a very simple opening, straightforward, good logo, except that doesn't really belong there. So, you know, nice coloring using the Rotary colors. The only downside is that instead of the whole photo being clickable, just the words are. Click here for upcoming events, okay. And then the rest of the website is fairly straightforward, yeah. So this is where you might lose people because it's, you know, kind of, I don't want to use the word boring, but I'm going to use the word boring. It's actually, look at that smile. She's got a great smile. Contacts. You guys, these guys have a for members section. Oh, that is not private. Okay. So some, like particularly in WordPress websites, and actually Club Runner can do it too. I'm sure DACDB can. If you have pages that are specifically for members, you can password protect them or require a login so that they are the only ones that see those pages. Very doable in all of the various platforms. So unfortunately, I know it's time consuming, not keeping up with the blog. I think that a blog or a news section is probably one of the greatest underutilized areas of a website, because that's where you have the ability to be able to share a story, a video, a photo, a project, an event, and anything that is, you know, currently going on in your club. And Laura posted up, so to answer the question, the approved verbs that you will find in the brand center are connect, empower, end polio, fight hunger, inspire, learn, mentor, promote peace. Oh, promote peace, sorry. Save lives and transform. So I've talked for about an hour now. If you have any unanswered questions, please do share. Robert, I very much appreciate your perspective and your sharing your website. Really some very good food for thought. This is really, I mean, really exceptionally well done. But that's, you know, that's a lot of work.
Melissa, would you put up your contact email again, please?
Sure, I'm just gonna type it here. melissawardrotary@gmail.com. Hopefully I did that all. melissawardrotary@gmail.com.
Okay.
So yeah, feel free to reach out. I am happy to take a peek at any, you know, any of your club websites and just kind of offer a little bit of, you know, minor feedback. I'm not here to, you know, crucify anyone. I know that we're all volunteers, and things like this take a lot of work. But if you think of it, right? So as they say, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. And that's kind of how you tackle something like digital marketing, right? Which really starts with your website and then social media and all of it. So I completely understand. I do this for a living, and sometimes I get crazy and I forget about my own Rotary stuff. So I totally get it. If there's nothing else.
Thank you, Melissa. That was awesome.
Thank you
Good
very
job.
much.
Good job.
Good. I'm glad that you enjoyed. I hope you found some of the information useful. Laura, thank you very much for having me. And that's it. Guys, have yourselves a great night. Enjoy your Tuesday. It's Tuesday, yeah. So enjoy your
Thank
Tuesday.
you.
Thank you.
See
Bye-bye.
you later. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.